far and away
Yeah.
not the least either. So.
Yeah, they've picked because it's not like they've have exact substitutes for heroes. They have I've seen a couple different things like the Tiny when they busted that out twice now too, with Jabs playing it and Black playing it. So I think they showed a little bit more versatility than they used to. But
do you think they have more versatility in the way that they play, their play style now, than they used to? They were very predictable before, weren't they? Kind of knew what you were going to get.
I think it's similar. I think they've just concreted the small mishaps that they have had, because they always I think the big thing for them is they've always just been okay, lane dominators, and then it's in the mid game where it really starts to become more difficult for them. So I think they have definitely worked on that. I think Winter's definitely I think the signs are showing that Winter has helped this team already. So
okay, let's take one more question.
Ooh.
If Faceless win, I will kiss
NS.
NS.
Okay.
I don't think he would really appreciate that.
Not sure. Anyway, we'll take another. Actually, I think we can actually get to the draft because it's just loading now. So there we go. Okay. We'll take more social media questions, of course, throughout the day and, of course, tomorrow. So keep them coming, and we'll select the best ones and get them on air. We are underway in draft number 3 for Faceless versus OG, and we see similar bands.
No hesitation.
And a similar pick.
I mean, this team is, we've talked about it over and over, and Curtis said he's one of the best, if not the best, Naga Siren, just because of the way that they play around it as well. It's probably their best hero, one of their highest win rates, so not too shocking to see that one, especially after that last performance. They were Notail didn't even really have to get involved in the game. We just had this backup Naga, and yeah. Are
you surprised at all that they've decided to stick with the Monkey King bans rather than maybe focus on the Naga and get rid of it?
They would have just picked out.
Yeah.
Was a Naga, I feel
like. Or Terrorblade. I feel like Faceless's idea.
They go for their own now.
I feel like what were you saying? Yeah.
Faceless's idea is sort of the way I think you have to approach OG right now, just because they have added a lot more Illusion Heroes, but Illusion Heroes seem a tiny bit weaker than before, that they were at, say, Boston. So you have to see the Illusion Hero and you want counter. And traditionally, Alchemist has been a very good counter to heroes that need to go late game, like Naga, Alchemist, those heroes. It's just because he hits such an early timing.
And they get the CM because they have second pick. Ben, you know Winter really well. What will he have said to Faceless in the break? Other than pick Alchemist if they go Naga?
Well, the thing is, I think he's had a pretty long time to prepare, which is the nice thing.
Yeah.
And Winter thinks about the game much differently than other people, I feel like, which is why I think he's really good at it as a coach. Even if you have dissenting ideas from the team, it's still another way to look at it. And from in between games number 1 and game number 2, they relied on Morphling, even though I think Naga is a little bit different in the way that you need to handle than Alchemist, because Naga is much better at team fighting, and I think sets up for really big ultimates instead. With the Disruptor, and then they're going to counter it with Heavy Greed.
I know Winter's a very objective person, the way he looks at things too, so he probably looked at that last game and he's probably it wasn't the draft entirely that lost it first, it was just the way that they, OG played it as well. They really threw everything off that Faceless, all Faceless' plan kind of messed up just because of that one situation, the aggro. It was bam.
We all mentioned it at the post-game segment where we said they effectively looked at the Naga and then just got tunnel vision and picked completely on that basis, whereas this time around they don't have to.
And another thing is, I think they need to wait for Ice's hero. Last time, in the first game, they picked it in phase number 3, and I feel like in the next game, he couldn't do anything as a Nyx.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a great Nyx game for him, and Ice is so important to Faceless and their victory.
Can we see similar bans?
I think the big point is that Faceless has second pick this time. So last time they got the last pick TA that countered basically all 5 of their heroes. But this time they can't get countered like that. So if they keep in mind that they don't have to overcommit to counter this Naga. Personally, I think Alchemist and CM are pretty much good enough to counter Naga in the game. Maybe one more hero who can deal with illusions, then they can sort of give OG a taste of their own medicine, get something really good as last pick.
Yeah. Definitely the Pudge was annoying for them then. And that's the signal that sends.
Yeah, the Enigma ban, I mean, always makes sense with the Naga Siren. We've touched on that one a lot, but yeah, that's some respect right there, for sure.
Wonder if Faceless will go for Ogre if OG don't ban it. I think it's a pretty good hero with Alchemist. I think we saw NIP would run it a lot with Cinderin and Koikva, and they were 6-1 or something with that combo. It's a very strong combo. You saw secure Alchemist the early game, and he's one of the better Bloodlust heroes in the game.
Don't you want a hero that can pick up more items though? Just because I think that the game's always a little bit slower with Alch, and you want to like generally buff him up with like Glimmers, Lotus, Solar, etc. Whereas Ogre can't really do that. And I don't think he's like the best Bloodlust carrier just because he doesn't right-click that often. But
that's true. I wouldn't mind a high farm Ogre this game though. Like we saw in some of the who was that team who had like 18,000 damage on Ogre? That was TNC, right?
Yeah.
Like he had 1,000,000 items in Ogre. You can actually do that on the hero. In that game, he managed to do that while maxing Bloodlust first, but you don't have to max Bloodlust. How the spell scales, the first like couple of points can sometimes be good enough, and you can max that W, which is 400 AoE damage at max.
Look at those OG bans. Poor Ice. They're like, picnics again. Picnics again, I dare you. Seems like they really have an idea versus Ice's Nyx Assassin, which in my opinion was one of his most dominant heroes, at least in the past for Faceless. So
there's still Magnus though, although that would be pretty greedy.
Magnus Alch is the classic DAC combo. I don't think we've seen at this tournament at all.
I don't think so. We haven't seen too much Alch, surprisingly, outside of OG games.
And I feel like the teams who are picking it versus OG are only picking it because they're playing OG, not because they really want to play the hero.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen too much mag lately either. Ever since like the DC game, I think that was the last one that we saw. But
you don't think he goes
kind
back
of
for the Abaddon?
Banned
out first too.
Okay.
Yeah.
For Ice.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
So there's not that many.
Ooh.
Interesting.
It's different.
That's a hero that gets more farm, right? In a way, he can.
It's also, I think, when you're up against the Naga Siren plus whatever team fight they have, I think like the Ogre doesn't really offer that much for the team fight. Whereas the Kunga Boat is amazingly good, and it's also good at catching out on Naga Siren. I think with the X, I like it a little bit better, but they are shying away a little bit from their like super early game control because Kunga is not particularly strong as at levels 1 and 2. But it is a very good combination with CM.
It's also pretty good against Disruptor. If you know someone's going to get Glimpse, especially when you're hitting a tower, you can get the X off. It's pretty easy. You can dodge the Glimpse that way. Something else is, I think you can taunt a Naga while she's sleeping. I believe it's like 1300 range, and Naga sleep is 1250. So if you have the AoE, you have like a decent buffer range that you're able to hit the TPing Naga if she chooses to sleep TP.
Especially if you're 25.
Especially if you're 25. when he hits 25 in this game as support Conka. I always love that when people pick supports and like, I'm Bane. I'm going to be very fast in the late game with my 25 talent. Just going to own everyone.
So it's Axe pick. I really like this.
Yeah, I think OG like to pick these stuns in their offlane whenever they have the Naga. I think again the space makes use for the stuns. They use the stuns to get pick off. Not only that, but these stunners are often the heroes that gives them kill threats into a lane so that they can collapse on it. I think in this game, if Axe gets a decent start in the jungle because they see that Faceless supports aren't that good at invading in the jungle, he can put a lot of pressure on that lane. He comes down level 4, level 5.
Might struggle a little bit to dunk though. I think it's an issue. Versus like Alch and Kunka, might not be terribly easy to do so. And he also doesn't know who his the safe lane matchup is.
Yeah, that's true. One thing that can be said for Axe and Bristleback. Okay.
Whoa.
One thing that can be said for Axe and Naga Siren together is that it's a nice combo in the sense that you can blink and call, you can fight for those 3.2 seconds that call lasts, and then you can sleep, reset the fight, and when Naga's sleep gets off cooldown, you also have the Axe call again. Just because it's such a short cooldown.
That's a good point, yeah.
Bristleback is
that Ice? It looks like it's probably Ice's hero, right?
I don't know.
Wouldn't have thought so.
Oh, Naga and Terrorblade.
And Terrorblade. Whoa.
Wait, this is support Naga then, right? Probably?
Yep.
Probably.
Yeah, more than likely.
I think support Naga's decent versus Bristleback just because Net is such a good spell versus him. I guess this Bristleback, they've planned on it for a while because I don't think you normally pick against Axe. Traditionally, the heroes that counter him are Legion Commander and Axe just because you can turn him around, hit him from the front.
Yeah.
He's a good Eggs carrier though. The Eggs is super underrated.
Works well with Conka with the Rum too. You can get multiple quills. How does that work with the your back turned with you of Rum?
It should be additive.
It should be additive,
so
right?
you should take like 10% damage.
Oh no, I mean like the damage that you take the quill.
No, it's only damage you take. like you have to lose the 200 HP for it to do the close.
Yeah, so the reduction doesn't
so yeah, I don't know actually.
That'd be pretty cool.
Because like, do you get like 15? If you have like the rum effect on you, and let's say you get like Lagooned or something, do you do the quills pre-reduction?
I have no idea.
I actually don't know how that one works.
I feel like in Dota 1 it'd be some like pseudo heal thing. You know how they did pseudo heals in Dota 1, and you'll just spray a bin and things, but I have no idea in Dota 2.
But it's kind of cool concept though, like with the Kunkka Bristle. So if he does get turned, now he does have like that kind of save factor from the Kunkka. He has like at least the rum.
Bristleback's also a hero that greatly benefits from the CM aura. I do like that about all Faces' CM lineups. They just use the aura so well. I think it is an offlane Bristleback.
I think so, right?
Honest. I mean, they have last pick, so they'll get to see OG's last hero, but I think it could be pretty strong.
It's like one of those. I think it like fills the concept of they did with in the first game, like that hero that just sits in the lane. Like Nyx Assassin, you kind of want to. You don't want to always be showing on the map. You want to be moving around. This one kind of feels like the same kind of concept as the Abaddon.
I guess that's
just kind of just go in.
They identify as strong because OG did that with Centaur in game 2.
Pugna
I mean,
ban.
they knew if they picked it, they would instantly lose. So you gotta ban that out.
They have 2 illusion heroes. I mean, Pugna is
Yo,
the best
it's actually a really good
hero.
Pugna game.
You
have the save versus the call.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Ice did pick the Bristleback against SG when they won in the group stages.
I feel like all the Bristlebacks I've seen at this tournament actually have gone completely berserk.
Ooh.
Yeah, I agree.
An Elder Titan. Haven't seen a huge amount of him this tournament, that's for sure.
Jarek's played it at one of the games that I saw in the groups. Maybe once or twice even? Maybe even twice I think he played it.
So it's a core Terrorblade and core Naga?
Looks like it. So what, mid TB versus the Alchemist?
Yeah, it's a really good matchup for
Yeah.
TB.
Yeah, just the second game for the Elder Titan in the tournament.
I like the Elder Titan with the Disruptor. You get vision, at least as well, from the Spirit to be able to get the glimpse charges. And now they have, that's like their big team fight now is the 2 support heroes, the Disruptor and Elder Titan, to kind of help with that.
Black has no idea what he wants.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good point too. It like really hard. It doesn't like hard. I mean, yeah, a lot of the heroes that Black plays, Elder Titan really does punish those, like the Slark, the Morphling, things like that. It's very difficult to play versus the Elder Titan.
Yeah. There aren't that many good options for him too.
Maybe that's where they make the switch up and they could maybe put him. I think this is where they could like make the change. It's like, okay, now maybe
they didn't have that much reserve time.
So they go back for the Tiny that they did previously. And with an Alchemist, too.
I think I like it. They had a lot of sustained team fight with the Bristleback and Alchemist. What they really lacked is some magical bursts. They have a bit with the Kunkka, but it's very slow to come in. They need something a bit faster.
Okay.
All right.
Our draft is complete for game number 3. Prediction time.
All right, guys, who are we going to curse?
I want Faceless to lose, so I'll pick Faceless.
Wait, hold on. I don't think that's how commentators' curse works, Ben. I don't think you can.
I think Faceless is going to win, actually. So
You do think
I'll go with Faceless.
So Ben's going with Faceless, okay.
I'm going to go OG. I think that they play so well around the Naga Siren. I think they have some like cool Wombo combo as well with Disruptor and Elder Titan Naga Siren. And I think that Axe can actually get away with putting a lot of pressure on the safe lane versus a CM Kunkka.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with OG as well. I think not having a save versus Axe is what's going to eventually be Faceless's downfall. The picks are weird, though. They have a Naga and a Terrorblade as cores together.
You're still confused by this draft. It's gone all the way around the table and you're still scratching your head.
Not in a
this.
bad way. I'm like thinking like Terrorblade opens up the map because he does some push. You know, I don't know if Faceless can deal with illusions either.
Okay.
So.
All right. Curtis is going to pull himself together whilst we head back to the arena for game number 3. It is all on this one for a place in the semi-final. Faceless or OG? Take your pick. Let's head back to the commentary team.
And it seems like in game number 3, we are indeed going to have a very different kind of game. I'm sure our analyst described it in a much more eloquent kind of way, breaking down the draft, but to the dumb play-by-play caster here, Kevin, it looks like to me we're going to have a battle between Illusion Rats and tanky, like, mid-game brawlers.
Yeah, I think the tempo from the Tiny that he's going to bring, it could really upset a lot of what OG wants to do. And it kind of looks a little bit like game 1 to me in that OG grabbed a draft that looked pretty straightforward. Things get changed up, and it goes somewhere else that we maybe didn't expect. And somehow Crystal Maiden is already casting a spell on a hero. It's going to be Jarex. He wanted to prevent him from getting any wards down. He does succeed at that.
Yep, the early TP's out. I think that's, you already said it, right? It's like Faceless, they have the potential heroes to be very disruptive to what OG want to do with the big, mid-game burst damage that they have and a lot of team fight. It's just a question of whether or not they have a strong laning phase, right? And Wards has got to be the first step to that.
Yeah. It is a little different lanes than I maybe expected, though. It's Black playing Tiny and off-lane Bristleback. A lot of the Bristlebacks we've been seeing has been a core position, but he is going to maybe need some help to be fully sustainable in his lane. With that said, though, Elder Titan's not the best early game roaming hero. He's okay, by all means, but he definitely can get shut down by some stuff.
Ooh. Sneaky OG, what are you doing? They're going to back up and go for a late smoke here. A 3-man intro into the jungle. Looks like Black is going to be in a position to spot this one and probably won't be caught, but he will be losing his bounty rune most likely. At the same time, Ice is going to contest the top rune, so they can still potentially go 2 for 2, and that's exactly what happens. So OG, they're hoping to be able to contest and maybe grab the Alchemist's bounty rune, but it actually breaks down the line even.
So not too unexpected to see the TB end up mid, considering the fact that they had a Naga and a TB. He's going to cast Metamorphosis level 1. He's going to attack the crap out of this Alchemist. And we'll see if that helps him get a good start. The aggro try that OG's currently running might have some trouble as well. They can do Frostbite into Torrent on Kunkka, which is certainly very problematic, but they are also very good at right-clicking opponents. They can amp damage, lower some armor with the Elder Titan as well as the Naga Siren. Maybe they can get a kill on these squishy supports.
Yeah, a 0 armor Tiny. He's going to have a hard time actually getting into these creeps because he puts himself there. He's immediately going to be riptided. All of a sudden, those right clicks are doing a ton of damage. And we are going to see this turn around the Frostbite. No Torrent coming out from the Kunkka, holding on to that one. It does seem like the aggro trialing, at least to begin with, is going to have, I would say, like, naturally the advantage. And Faceless just kind of upset that by claiming a kill somehow.
Yeah, and they haven't even started to see him in the jungle either, so they're going to have some mana problems. But not too surprising, I think. Did I hear a smoke or am I just crazy? I think I'm just crazy. Nothing happened here.
I think you are, Purge.
That's
You're
okay.
losing it.
6 last hits now for Terrorblade. The Alchemist is 5-1. So there was basically no problem for Jabs to get last hits. And that's pretty much because he picked up a Quelling Blade level 1, most likely. It's very difficult to deny against that advantage, even with plus 20 damage from the first meta.
And then this top lane, I'm sure it's actually not going to be too terrible for Ice. He's already kind of blown his full mana pool there to try and harass out the Axe early on. He'll have the Crystal Maiden as well to be able to help him out eventually once we start getting that Arcane Aura. So I'm sure despite it being a 1v1 melee matchup against an Axe, I presume that Bristleback is not going to be having the most problems in the world.
Yeah, with that said though, he's already picking up some magic stick charges on Axe, so eventually it's going to come down to a crucial moment where both of them try to kill each other, I think. And he does use his Shrine almost instantly just to get that mana pool. And this is one of the limitations of Bristle. You kind of need to burn through most of your mana pool to try to get a kill in the laning stage, because it all comes down to using Quill Spray like 4 or 5 times in a row. So the CM Aura, picking up level 3 now, definitely is a big threat against Axe, but he has some good solutions between Berserker's Call for the bonus armor as well as the magic stick.
It's always nice being able to force the Bristleback to face you.
Yeah, that could actually really
early kill potential here. He actually went for the level of Viscous Nasal Goo and is going to be running down S4. Those Magic Wand charges aren't going to come into play, but this stacks up on stacks. Quill Spray is going to be able to finish him off in a second. No! 7 HP. Ice goes for it, but the first blood has already been taken. Nuts managed to grab that one, or seriously, Jarix managed to grab that one on Nuts at the bottom lane before he could actually claim the kill at top. Oh, that was so close. Literally 5 HP. And it's like a 400 gold difference, right? That first blood?
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. S4 surprisingly going down, though. It was basically just came down to Ice holding his skill point. Usually you grab Bristleback, but was able to get Nasal Goo instead. And somehow he grabs the Bristleback skill, I believe. Not 100% on that one, but maybe he got 4 from the kill. Not sure, but either way, a really good kill from him. The slow helping a lot.
He picks up that side lane bottle. So this is really cool, the way that Ice is playing this one out. He used the Quills immediately, empties his mana pool, used the Shrine, really pressuring, continuing to pressure S4. This is not a lane you should win naturally, I think, as a Bristleback, but the changes to the off lane are beginning to make such a huge difference. He's now killed the Axe. He's actually got his mana pool back into play once again, thanks to that bottle and the Arcane Aura that he's going to be working with.
Yeah, so still getting more magic stick charges, but things are a bit scary here. At least he'll have Battle Hunger now. If the he gets a call, actually. This could be big.
Yeah,
no
S4
spins.
needs the spins, and he doesn't get them.
That was a little unlucky. Got one spin, I believe. We needed maybe 2, maybe 3 to get a kill, but get some good damage in. But when he can just go around bottling runes like this, it's going to be a super advantage because Bristol just has to leave the lane, hit the first rune, cross the river, get the second rune. That's 4 bottle charges.
All right, we focused on that top lane quite a bit, but we did have that kill and bottom. It looks like Faceless not feeling comfortable keeping the constant 3 versus 3. They do actually rotate the Alchemist into the jungle a little bit. He's going to be backing off. The supports will take over mid as well as that jungle with the Crystal Maiden. And then after they've given the Tiny a little bit of time, maybe they'll return back to bottom. XY in danger here. Jarex is looking for a stomp possibility. And at very minimum, force them away from the double damage Ana, who does lay a bit of chip damage on that tower.
It is really difficult for Elder Titan to land his Echo Stomp right now. The cast time is 1.7 seconds. That's so long. But if you can land it, it does give your team a lot of great setup. So they have a lot of different ways to fish for 2-man calls, for 2-man static storms, maybe more heroes if they get even luckier. And they've got that on top of the Song of the Siren as well. So it's going to be hard for Faceless to posture for team fights if they don't go in and start the fight on a good foot.
I think Faceless need to do like the same thing they did in game number 1, right? Like maintain a 2-2-1 sort of game like the whole entire time, because that is so much wombo combo power coming out from OG. Song of Siren sleep into the ET ultimate. Oh, nice stomp there. We'll get a little damage onto Jabs. I don't think he'll be in any real danger, though. A little bit of bottom blocking, but Chemical Rage is up.
Definitely a lot safer for Ana just to focus on getting denies and last hits in that moment. But I do think that Faceless does have the solution that he had from first game, which is tanky offlaner hero who's hard to kill. S4 is not going to be able to deal with him super well. Getting killed by him really changed things a lot. And now Nut's in a great position to set up a further gank. Like Ice already does enough damage to get the axe kill, but now he's also going to have the benefit of even more disable from the CM. There's also no TP potential for Axe. I think that's what he might be relying on here.
TP into mid lane. Black is going to try and help XY, put some pressure on Ana, make sure they don't lose their tier 1 tower to the early Metamorphosis. OG are notoriously good with Terrorblade, but most of the time it's on No Tail. This time around, the mid Terrorblade belongs to Ana, and he's going to be the one trying to move around and take towers. I presume, I think they still kind of operate with the same mindset, right? Is that utilize this Metamorphosis super early on to bully all the outer towers down.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be the case, especially once they get like... that's a really nice thing about the TB this game. He's going to get a really fast level 7, level 8. Those first like 10 levels are huge for Terrorblade. Getting the Metamorphosis is high in damage, the Conjure Images is as good as possible, the Sunder, and even if you can get a value point of Reflection early, makes a big impact in your ability to take towers. So there's very little that Faces can actually do to slow this down in the moment, especially with Alchemist as your mid. And in terms of levels, I think that's a big aspect of this game. Kunkka sitting at level 2, and pretty much all supports sitting quite low, level 3s about. So those first couple of rotations are going to be huge. But who's the hero that's most farthest behind, actually? It's probably Naga Siren, just barely edging over into level 5 right now. So the cores are going to, the carries themselves are going to have a lot less levels than we normally expect due to this try versus try situation.
Yeah, poor Black. 26 CS. At least he's getting the solo levels, so he's kind of okay with this situation because he can come back by getting the hero kills, right?
That's true.
Ana, going to be popped back into the torrent. Follow up here from Black. That is not going to be nearly enough damage to bring him down. The stomp to intercept from Jarex as well. Meanwhile, the top lane, it looks like it's actually going to go down. Ice. Yeah. Taking a very early safe lane tower, just like he did with the Abaddon.
They just haven't felt comfortable pressuring Bristol up here. Axe has been forced to sit in the jungle a lot. He knows that there's so much threat. One other hero and it'll be enough damage, but Axe is just not... He can do very well against the Bristol back in lane, but it definitely requires Ice to make some mistakes. And really, if Bristol's just as fast as you and he has enough ground to just continuously cast Quill on you, it's not too unexpected to get kills. And with that advantage, it's been hard for S4 to catch up. Still going to rush Vanguard this game. I think it's a pretty good choice. Still a good mix of damage coming from Faces, but raw HP alone is going to do a lot.
Yeah, he needs to make sure he has the survivability against that call, right? And fortunately, he doesn't have to worry about the initiation anytime soon from S4 because S4 is actually going to be going for a Vanguard of his own and obviously losing his lane.
They're rotating forward for mid.
They want to be able to push back Ana here, but the stomp onto 2. No Tails here as well if they actually want to be able to fully fight this one out. They're going to try and get some damage onto No Tails. One of them down to half. There is no escape mechanism for No Tail here, so he's going to be caught by the Torrent. It looks like he is going to be brought down. Anna's trying to get some damage out. Oh, he actually survived through that one. It looks like Raindrop managed to allow him to survive through that one. Jairus gets another great stomp in, and they finish off Black. Now Jabs is going to have to run himself away from all of this, but he is going to be ensnared up. Anna's coming in with a big time damage. They're trying to get in front of Jabs to body block him. Doesn't quite get it. The kinetic field snatches him, though, and Jabs now locked against 3. Body blocks by the 2 of them, giving Anna the opportunity to lay out the swings. Another ensnare. He's got to get the armlet toggles, but it's just not in time. He misses out on that one. Black gets the toss up. The Sunder attempted. Frostbite. No! He gets the Sunder off. And OG win that fight big time. They walk away with multiple core kills. They killed 4 heroes, lost 0, I believe.
I thought for sure No Tail was dead, but if we look at Black's level, he's only level 5. That was a level 2 toss, meaning that Raindrop blocked 120 of that 150. After reduction, that's a whole 22.5 points of damage to the Naga Siren. He got to wand off afterwards, absolutely keeping him alive, and he was a big impact in some of those crucial kills.
XY pulls himself back. Nice, clever use of X marks the spot. Now, one member I didn't really feel, Ice, was he a part of that fight? Did I just miss him, or?
I didn't see him there at all, unless there was a deeper part of the engagement, but S4, who's trying to bait him to the shrine, I think, here. They're getting him pretty close. No support TP, so Ice will be fine, but S4's got blink money. He's changing his build up here.
Jarex, he's been making these aggressive rotations through the jungle so many times, you figure eventually you're going to be caught. That's what happens here. Anna, you don't have Metamorphosis, so this Invis is not going to do too much besides getting maybe a surprise CS.
You know, Invis really pay off when you can cross the map to the place you want to farm safely. And it worked out there. Anna gets another 5 last hits. Big rune pickup.
Well played, Anna. As always, keeping us as casters on our toes. It's 2-5, 11 minutes in. Faceless are currently still a bit behind OG. OG, 1,000 net worth lead and about 1,500 experience after what was a huge mid-lane team fight for them. Not only took 4 kills, but also that mid-tower. And the only real member of Faceless that's looking good right now is Ice's Bristleback.
Yeah, Alchemist just barely in the net worth advantage, but not for a whole lot. Just a couple more last hits, Goblin Greed stuff. So if Bristle doesn't have an amazing game here, I think it's going to be tough, but he's
they're
very
going to be able to get
surrounded.
the call on him. They need to output as much damage during this call time while they're facing, because once he starts getting that passive, it's going to be real tough to bring him down. They do manage to get the glimpse back. Ice laying a lot of damage into the OG members, almost takes out S4 as well as Fly with the quills, but it's not quite enough. OG once again squeak on by with another successful fight, losing no heroes.
That was a biased Hellbear Smasher. Did you see that clap? I'm sure a lot of that was the quills, though, that came out due to some back damage. They had some slight delay in Anna using Metamorphosis and right-clicking the Bristle, so it was a little harder than it needed to be, but also just because, no, actually, Berserker's calls at max duration already. The highest level in the game was actually Anna a moment ago. Still up there, but he did have some space separating it. So great rotation, Bristle kills down, and that's a lot of gold flooding towards OG's side.
Anna backs up at just the right time as the death timer completes for the Bristleback. He runs himself away. He knows that, you know, Faceless got a lot of catch. If he doesn't have the backup of his team, there's no sense sticking around. So he actually grabs a regen rune as he works his way on through. Meanwhile, Jabs is playing off the offlane jungle, trying to complete his Radiance. And he is closing in on the Relic, but looks like Fly might be able to get some sort of aggressive ward down, and if they're not careful, they do see him right now. Maybe they can catch him here. They're going to lead things off.
Oh, he got rooted. And armor lower.
Thunder Strike. Jarek's going to be the stun that he throws out, but Jab still needs a lot of extra help. He is going to be stomped up. This is going to set up Fly potentially if he wants to throw out the Static Storm. Isn't going to be using it just yet. Jab's going to be brought back. He tried to go for an armlet toggle, but ends up dying to Anna's right click before he could do anything there. Bottom lane, S4 is actually kind of setting up for maybe to go on Ice if his team mass rotates, but it doesn't look like they're feeling real comfortable, so instead they just lose the tower.
A little unfortunate for Alchemist. Perfect time for that Ancient to strike.
Oh, nuts. What is this?
Flight's just going to ulti this, I
peek out.
think.
Static Storm thrown. Nuts just needs the right click, and he does get it. But he dies first, so unfortunately unable to claim the experience for that sneak attack.
Yeah, absolutely worth it there for OG. A little bit of an experience bonus will make the difference sometimes. It does cost them Static Storm. It's maybe the only downside, but they didn't even need to kill the Alchemist here. And what seems so clear is that OG is putting 4 of their heroes in the right place at the right time routinely, enough to kill the hero that they need to, even if that hero is really tanky. Because it seems so much like how do you kill Bristleback this game? He's got a Vanguard. He's very tanky. He outputs a lot of damage. But somehow OG is getting 4 heroes that matter to the right place without getting spotted every single time they gank.
So you think Faceless just need to, maybe it's an opportunity for them to go smoke and get some aggressive vision down? You think that will help solve some of their problems?
Yeah, I'm sure that could be some of it. Their wards right now, it's mid-focused. It's entry point into their jungle. But with the Tier 1 tower dead mid, there's a lot of different entry points, actually. That's like the ward that Dire has near Roshan. That'd be a great place for Faceless to have a ward as well. Protects movement into the other clump of jungle that Alchemist loves farming in. And right now they do go for smoke. They're going to try to cover through their jungle as the pressure towards the tower happens. Anna's going to take this tower real fast.
They're going to wrap around behind Anna. This tower is going to drop, but they've already completed the TP for the Tiny, so they will have additional heroes here, but they need to be able to combo them up and keep the control. S4 actually got hit by the Avalanche, so he doesn't get the call. The control is not there. The Terrorblade ends up dying, unable to get off his ultimate, and now S4 is going to die as well. Great rotation by Faceless. OG thought they had the correct counterplay there with S4 sitting in the jungle, but Faceless just brought enough members.
Yeah, a small mistake there as well. And Anna, he was on intreads as he got tossed in the air. There's a small chance with strength that he would have stayed alive to get his Sunder off and then the wand into Sunder, but ends up getting bursted down. That's always the thing you got to be afraid of if you're playing Terrorblade. It's fearing the burst, and Tiny has enough levels now. He's got the Blink Dagger. This may not be the last time that happens this game.
I feel like OG don't make that mistake very often. I think when they see opportunities when they're ahead, Fly, going to be bursted down here, but he does manage to get the Kinetic Field Static Storm with no tail, managed to get the Ensnare. That's a lot of damage laid out into Black already. Black's going to try and juke his way through the trees. Had the Blink coming up. No tail stops him, though. Are they going to be able to get the instant damage? He's going to have to Riptide at the perfect timing here. The Blink already goes off. They already have some heroes spread out, but Black is just too quick for OG.
That's very costly. They kind of had to go for the song to get the kill.
Torrent X into a boat. Jarek's going to be caught. Ice right on top. He goes for a stomp, hoping to be able to make his way out afterwards, but doesn't get it off in time.
Medallion pickup making the difference there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot more single target damage output there by Ice. And Solar Crest will follow, so he is going to be real hard to kill this game. It feels like Faceless is finally putting on the aggression they need to do. The OG heroes are killable, but it was just very difficult for them to do that earlier because they're lacking of levels. And the first couple skirmishes that went their way really allowed them to catch up, and now it's getting to the point where I was scared for OG during the draft, where their cores are definitely pressurable. They've got a lot of burst damage, and they are still tanky and kind of hard to kill. But it's the time right before Radiance. Snowtail doesn't want to run around the map fighting. He just wants to finish his Radiance so that he can offset what Alchemist is doing.
Speaking of him, he's working towards the Boots of Travel. He's been bought a lot of time thanks to the Bristleback and everything Ice managed to accomplish with that hero. 7-8 right now, 17 minutes in, and that gold lead has gone back into favor of Faceless by about 2K and 1,000 experience lead. Again, Alchemist advantage does pretty much make this all kind of null and void. It seems like a game that's straight up 50-50, and Faceless kind of looking at a timing window where they are going to be very tanky, very strong in team fights, able to output a lot of damage. And do you think OG actually contests that with the Naga Siren setup, the just going for it, or do you think they try and wrap?
Ooh, it's going to be kind of hard right now. Oh, this is actually a pretty good fight for them.
Oh, this is a beautiful setup. The Static Storm does manage to snatch back onto the Tiny. It looks like they can actually kill Black with just the 2 supports, but maybe the Solar Crest is just enough until Eclipse comes in. They do have the stun. Hit onto the Terrorblade. He's pretty low, but it looks like this is just OG catching multiple heroes one by one. XY stuck inside the kinetic field. Tries to do some torn action, but he will go down to S4's Culling Blade. So 2 pickoffs there. Great reaction there from OG. Jarek's is the one that hits that beautiful stomp.
They were positioned so well, and their Observer Ward was really set up for that. They expected Faces to do the initiation. They hid in the position that's going to give them the initiation opportunity without their opponents knowing exactly where they are. And the stomp was amazing.
Of Jabs. Jabs doesn't hit the unstable concoction on the real hero.
Fly's going to die on the top lane, though. They tried to get this Nuts pick off as he goes into ward, but...
Oh, Jabs, can you juke your way through this one? Don't breathe, don't move. Oh, Jab's been spotted. They're going to pop the Metamorphosis. They know they've got him now. Unstable Concoction is up. He sees Snowtail, hoping to be able to get a return kill, but not going to happen.
TB is actually so good against Elk this game because you get a free Radiance on your team, even if the Naga Siren isn't there. What a good pick. It's really paying off now, and he's getting to tanky area. Manta is almost up for him, and his damage output is huge. The Roche is going to go down most likely for Faceless, though. That's the upside to the Alchemist spending some time over there dying.
Yeah, it would have been so much better if Jabs just played a little bit more careful, right? Not just brazenly TPing in the lane, but it backed off into the jungle or something and done it. Then they would have probably still taken that Roshan and been able to go for maybe a push in the mid or something.
It's almost alive anyway, so I think it'll be okay.
Yeah.
And Ice now has the do stupid things item build. The Vanguard, the Solar Crest with the Aegis. You just got to get your opponents to focus you. And you may think Bristleback's not the highest damage in here. That's not true at all. Every time he casts a spell, plus 25 damage right now. And that really adds up fast with some good attack speed. So he's certainly going to be a threat, especially to the low armor heroes. Elder Titan is not that high armor. His HP is kind of weak. He did pick up a Fast Hand of Midas. This is actually a great Elder item, but he's got to turn this into his own Medallion Solar Crest so that he can survive heroes like Alchemist, Tiny, and Bristle.
There's still a good amount of control from the side of OG, not just the Song of Siren, but you've got Disruptor and ET. Do you think how does our Bristleback deal with those kind of kiting mechanisms?
He's just got to approach the fight from a different direction. I think that way he can hit the backline and constantly mess with them, delay their ability to just use their skills perfectly.
Right.
Because if OG gets to play around with initiations, they will find the perfect initiation. Black. Oh, great call.
Oh, S4 is going to be able to catch him out here. The Stomp's going to be able to follow that one up. They want to be able to blow up Black immediately, but they're not going to be able to get it because now Jabs is able to set up here. They caught S4. The pullback there of the X does get it. Now a two-man Static Storm as the Song of Siren fades out with the ultimate from Jarex. A wombo combo to be sure, but can Faceless still fight this one out? They've got the big hero in Ice, but he's running low on mana. XY's trying to help him out by being able to control some of these heroes, but it seems like Ice is not going to have the mana to be able to threaten the cores, but maybe he can kill a support. That's one. Can he chase down Ana? They do have the Sunner onto Ana. Ana's going to use it immediately, just TP away. Smart move by him, but he's going to be caught by the Torrent, so maybe they can still catch him out. He turns, fights XY, does manage to kill him. Ice, he turns his back to Ana. He really wants to make sure he can get this kill, but he also can't straight up man-fight the Terrorblade during the Metamorphosis, so he has to back down.
XY got a little too excited about his TP cancel, and when all you have is a Tranquil Boots and Staff of Wizardry, that's not going to be enough to tank the Terrorblade. But even when Bristle was fighting him head-on, it didn't look that survivable.
Black finds a free kill on a fly and a free trip back to base 2.
Full mana, no problem. That's what he wanted. Black's still going to have a lot of survivability problems, though. OG did a great job salvaging that team fight in a strong way.
Yeah, this is such a good Naga Siren setup game, and this is what I think OG are really special. I think another team that did it was NP, right? But you get Jarex with this ultimate with the Static Storm over the top, and these two strength heroes just melted.
And the Earth Splitter was so good. Yeah. Really helps keep them inside there a bit longer, too. Faceless did a great job trying to keep them shut down. They tried to kite Iana, but at some point you're going to have to commit to getting a Sunder off. Jeb's not looking too happy about that one, but there was definitely some light at the end of the tunnel with the Bristleback being strong. So
now, a big reason that fight went the way of OG, right, is they start off with the initiation. S4 jumped onto a Tiny. You talked about like being able to address the back line. That's got to be Black's job, right? With his Blink Dagger pickup, he needs to be able to catch those supports because those supports, they do not deal well with pressure, right? They don't deal well with heroes on top of them. They need these kind of very clear, analytical, sort of, okay, we're going to set up here and place this ultimate here. They need that kind of setup, not the chaos that Tiny kind of produces.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with Song, though. It lets you interrupt fights and stop that backline pressure, that combo pressure that Black on the Tiny provides. It's always difficult to ensure that your team fight continues the way you want it to when you're against a Naga. So as long as he's got Song and he's not the one that gets bursted at the start, I see OG taking these fights very well.
And this is maybe where we go back to Faceless, unless they're smoking or something that kind of ensures their initiation. Playing that 2-2-1 game, maybe we go back to that and just stay away from the team fights of OG, since at least for now they do seem to be the superior opponents.
They're going high ground. That's a base right there.
Damage with the Metamorphosis. Toss back onto S4 into all of those illusions.
They don't have Glyph for like 6 seconds. I think the tower's just dead.
It is going to be dead. Can Faceless actually get a fight out of this one, though? They're going to catch Ana with X marks the spot, pull him back. There goes the Song of Siren, though. There's no BKBs. They want to fight this? No. I think a full retreat is exactly what OG need here. Ana's going to be a little bit slow making his way back. Fortunately, he does use an illusion to stop Black.
and his Blink Dagger. So OG should be able to make a clean escape. But again, this is the dynamicism that Naga Siren really brings to the whole entire lineup. It's being able to use this ultimate to both set up team fights as well as call full retreats.
Yeah, it's so difficult to play around. It reminds me a lot of the Enigma pick. Different heroes, but I feel like the Disruptor is a hero they planned out to make this work. Teams kind of started giving up on things like Naga Siren bans first round. We saw it at DAC. It really helped out, but there's other heroes that combo with it. I mean, it was seen as the, well, that's going to stop the Enigma setup, but Disruptor on top of that with some of these other heroes like Elder Titan, it's made the fight so hard, even if some of their lanes weren't perfectly ideal. Nuts looking to be in some trouble here. Does get just a little bit of aggro top. He gets a chop off as well. Just a simple walk forward, call, blade mail, easy kill.
And he is going to have a BKB in no time if he continues to find those kind of pickoffs. Meanwhile, oh, X on the Fly. Fly's going to try and stop this by aggressively using Static Storm, but still gets pulled back. And he does end up going down. OG rapidly rotating into the jungle, but does seem like Alchemist is not going to be sticking around. He's going to use his illusions to farm out the lane. And that is something that OG still have to worry about, right? Is that they are going to hit this really good mid-game timer, it seems like, with the Terror Blade and their Naga Siren both being very farmed. But you start pushing this a little bit too late, and this Alchemist, he completes his rat build, he kind of prolongs the game. They were giving away Aghanim Scepter, all of which, every single one of the heroes from Faceless can take one.
That's true. I don't know if I'm super sold on them, though. I think the Ghost Ship, the Kunkka Eggs can be really, really effective. CMs could be really good, too, because of Frostbite against Illusions, but...
You don't like the Bristleback one? I think it's pretty legit.
It's definitely very good. I think that's definitely their first go-to just because of the fact that he is the most farmed hero on his team, and him getting in there and providing some AoE control would be really effective. They're all pretty good. I just don't feel like it's going to make a massive difference in the team fight wins. It only does if they're the ones on the chase. If they're the ones on the chase, he has a lot of time to hit the back line, put slow on all of them, and get his team to fall, it's going to work great. But there's just so much control around Song of the Siren and around getting the Axe Call into the Elder Titan hitting the back line.
What you're saying is it's not like a Weaver Ags or a 9-star. It's not one of those game-changing moments, right? And oh, Black. I mean, it's a little bit disappointing. Oh, no! The call from S4 saving the life of Fly.
I cannot believe he's still alive. That would look like the most dead Disruptor I've ever seen. Song going on somewhere.
Yeah, he used it also to try and save our Disruptors, so...
I think maybe looking for backline heroes, expecting like Kunkka to be behind. I didn't see him use it, but something like that maybe.
Yeah,
it's not the biggest loss either. It's 100 seconds. It's a bit, but they're fine for now with the Death Tiny.
If you're Faceless, do you think you try and take advantage of this timing? Your Tiny's coming back up. You know, Song of Siren's down, or you're just down to prolong the game and play it safe.
Oh, I definitely don't want to prolong the game in this game. I think OG has way too much teamfight control for that. I think you have to keep doing these little pokes like Black did. Or tried to do. I mean, he did it very well against the TNC yesterday with his Slark, but it's a little harder on Tiny. If you can't kill the squishiest hero on the map, that's a bad place to be in. Maybe if he has an Echo Saber, that's a kill. Pretty much for sure. Shadow Blade helped, I bet, but maybe something could have been min-maxed a little better, but Black's got to be the one to find the kills, and if Tiny doesn't keep getting kills, he will not scale as well, especially in the face of all this minus armor. That's a big weakness.
Our BKB timings, Ice does have his, so the Song of the Siren is going to be a little less reliable, not just being able to escape, but also being able to set up. Bristleback is just one hero. He won't be able to go on. As far as the others, though, Alchemist is still trying to complete his rat build. He actually has the Radiance Manta and went for the Shivas early on before the Octarine. Presuming at some point after the Octarine, we're going to have to consider a BKB.
Yeah, he has to get the Shivas because of all the minus armor between the Elder Titan. It'll remove 9 of his base armor, which with just the armlet would leave him around, 9 or something like that. It's not really enough when you put a medallion on top of that as well as the Riptide. You have to go for an early armor item or you're just going to get ripped apart in fights. So slightly forced. It will delay his farm split push, which definitely gives OG a split push advantage with the Naga.
Smoke for smoke. Faceless as a 4-man crew pushed out. Look for something in the enemy jungle. OG playing very defensively around their shrine. Also pop a smoke.
I'll see him reveals. So they know they can pressure forward now.
Yeah. They're very rapidly closing in. They're going to try and cut off some of these members of Faceless, I think.
Don't know if they know there's still to the left, though. There's very likelihood they walk left, TP, get a different position. And OG's still playing it safe, not using Metamorphosis just yet. They know there's a glyph because it wasn't used in the last fight.
Black's on the hunt. Boom, 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 boom. Unfortunately, he's got to get some sort of combination with his team. And again, if you're not going on the Naga, then she's going to be using Song of Siren to save whatever hero you do the toss combination with. And as we've already talked about, he's not strong enough to just burst that hero by himself.
He's getting really tanky as well. He's got the Soul Booster now. Saving up for the Octarine to get the really low cooldown Song of the Siren.
S4.
What's that?
Messed up his blink, it looks like.
Maybe took damage from the Radiant Illusion, something like that.
Yeah.
But the illusion spread across the map, continue to farm everything.
Oh, call, not quite there. Nuts will stop him. But they do have the glimpse. Now Black is actually going to jump in. They do manage to get a two-man with a stun combination. The Static Storm is out. Ice. It's up to him to chase down these heroes. He's still BKB'd and it's there. He's trying to get to Jarex. A nice concoction, actually, from the tail end of that one. Managed to catch two heroes. And Ice will manage to grab that kill onto Jarex. But it felt like that was still a lot blown by Faceless in order to just kill a support. But maybe because the Song of Siren has been used, it also opens up Roshan.
Yeah, they can kill so fast as well.
Look at how many illusions there are.
That's a lot of gold, though.
It's a goddamn army.
They're farming it, though. That was a good 150 gold they just gained. A couple illusions on cooldown. They got to keep an eye on Roche, though. It can die really fast against Bristleback with a Solar Crest. So they'll get in there. They'll slap him a little bit. They just want them to know that they're watching him. So he knows that if there's vulnerabilities, that they will punish it, which makes it a lot less confident to just slowly kill Roche. So up in 6 seconds for the Elder Titan.
That's right, Faceless, with all these illusions spreading all over the map. Every step you take, every move you make, OG will be watching you. That's why they need to be using some smokes, some Shadow Blades. Get in there to the back line. Black has had a little bit of rough time finding these initiations so far, and it's going to be even harder once this Octarine comes up.
I really thought Faceless was going to get punished when he blinked aggressively into this team. It seemed like the most obvious Static Storm. It was a great Static Storm, but the BKB coming from the Bristleback just did way too much. They still need some big armor items to protect their backline, and Black is still making some pressure happen.
I really need him to connect with another kill because he needs a BKB too, right?
Yeah.
Like, he can't afford to every single time be stalled up by the Song of Siren and caught inside Static Storm. So they need him to have a BKB, as well as, I'm presuming the Alchemist is eventually going to get a call out onto Nuts. S4 cornered the poor Crystal Maiden and made her his. 14-19, 32 minutes in. Ice being chased along by illusions all over the place. They're going to be able to get the glimpse back here. Maybe, just maybe, they can actually bring Ice down. Now he's going to pop his BKB, fearing all the damage that's coming out. Oh, look at it again. The Song of Siren mixed with the BKB. Again, it plays against Faceless. OG are going to be able to catch multiple heroes now that Ice is down. They immediately put their attention onto Jabs. When Stable Concoction goes out, here comes the ship actually, but S4 managed to get the call onto Jabs. That gives No Tail a little bit of space to be able to work with. They get the ensnare, kiting this hero. 2 down from Faceless. Asunder goes out as well. That'll be XY caught. OG, a great team fight for them. They just know the ins and out of this Naga Siren hero and how to use that ult.
They really do. They did perfect attack moving to guarantee the kill on the Bristleback, and instantly with the chop right into position to combo it from a kill into a further setup. The Alchemist did a lot of damage staying alive, though. It was pretty impressive how low everybody was by the end of the fight, but the fast Scotty here on Ana has just given them so much advantage because they just simply can guarantee slow all the important cores.
Look at this. Ice. Pulled back. And they're kind of thinking about maybe we don't focus him. Ana makes the call. Ice pops that BKB, and boom, there goes the Song of Siren. And all of a sudden, it doesn't really matter if you have that passive going on. It doesn't really matter because there's 4 heroes all targeting you, and you're the only one being targeted. Everyone else is asleep.
And XY in the backline doing everything he can to slow things down, but not able to affect it. OG is able to get Roche in the meantime with all of the dead Faceless heroes. And now they're going to start pushing across the map, finishing off the rest of the towers, and really start closing out the game. Everything up until this point felt pretty neutral. The map was pretty split across the middle. Black's looking for kills, but he wasn't effective enough at finding them.
Lotus Orb being built up. Who was that? I saw our Bristleback is actually building into an AC. Oh, there. Okay, that's a Sunder used. It's one way to get full health.
Oh, it was.
Elder Titan, or excuse me, Kunkka has the Lotus Orb queued up. That's what I was looking for.
Okay. Yule's almost finished as well. Oh, there's so many items on the courier.
Yeah, OG are just getting like so much. And I see like Faceless, and there's all these items they really need to have. The BKBs, the Lotus Orb, like in order to actually make these team fights work for them, or even have a chance at being able to make it work. The problem is they're losing out on all their space. Like the map is completely controlled by OG. There's illusions funneling in everywhere. They start beating on this tier 3 tower at the bottom lane. Zen back there. Whoa-oh, they just lost their Alchemist.
That's not good at all. They maybe can start a fight to delay this, but Terrorblade's got Aegis. He's
S4 gets the call onto the Tiny in the back lines. Anna immediately helps with the illusion, but Black does get a Force Staff away. Now, Nuts actually stopped by the Static Storm. That ultimate's not going to last for long. Anna's actually dropped pretty low here. Maybe they can take away that Aegis, but there goes the Song of Siren. Ice comes forward. There goes Asunder. He says, thank you very much for a full heal. OG start backing away, but the Song of Siren's down. Maybe they can still fight this one out. Ice is going to be taken down, but No-Tail's down to half health. A beautiful Torrent, as well as a follow-up Unstable Concoction, but S4's going ham in the back lines. Managed to catch Tiny, pulls him down. Jab still really needs this kill onto Anna. They cannot afford to be using all this and not claim some kills, so they are going to be able to get Anna here. That's life number 1. OG, can they actually save their core? They're going to try and set up with the Elder Titan Stomp. Anna slowed down. Stomp is going to be dodged here, controlled up by the X, and they give up. They're like, nope, Anna, sorry, you're dead. And the rest of OG going to bail.
Very good defense there by Faceless, able to hold the high ground. And it all came down to the Song of the Siren being used and Naga Siren being vulnerable still. If she had the Aegis, things go a little better, but unfortunately he had to use Song to try to help his allies stay alive. And that just wasn't enough when they were able to focus him. So small tactical mistake there by OG gives Faceless some breathing room because they punished it well.
That is BKB for the Tiny, complete. That S4 call, I thought for sure, like, oh, he's donezo. But with the combination of the Invis and the Force Staff back, those shots from Anna couldn't bring him down.
They wasted Static Storm as well. This put Terrorblade in a really bad position. Felt like Songin was the only way to save him there. And No-Tail sitting probably too far forward here. His HP's not very good. His armor's certainly not very good. He's even taking tower damage.
This beautiful Torrent that hits on 2.
It really was the X on No-Tail that helped guarantee that he stayed out of position. Probably why he was in the front so long.
Yeah. Faceless, you could definitely see. I mean, they gave up the Naga Siren again. They obviously had a game plan. Game plan was Alk and Kunkka, two of the better heroes to address the various ways that Naga Siren works.
Well, there's no Aghanim Scepters pulled yet, but it's about time. Jabs is 6 slotted here. Looks like he's going to opt for an AC. Probably will replace his armlet just to make his hero even harder to kill. It's going to make Terrorblade less effective at killing Alk, and most importantly, even more counteraction from the Elder Titans amplify damage.
Are you still thinking Bristleback first? Because he's no longer as farmed, as ahead of everyone else. Well, I'm kind of feeling the Kunkka, you know, the group up mechanism of the ship with all these AoE abilities, Unstable Concoction, the Avalanche.
I think it all depends. He's not going for a blink deck. I kind of theory crafted a blink on him potentially. Blink to the back of the crew, boat towards your team, vacuum, bring them out of position. That could be amazing. But I don't think Kunkka boat is the Ags right now. It's definitely good in purpose. Maybe Tiny, but Tiny's still doesn't have armor. He can't actually fight. He's queuing up a butterfly because he knows there's an Ags in his history, or in the future that is. But I think it's got to be Bristle, I guess, looking at it. It's going to go for a Lotus Orb. Actually, yeah, still Lotus Orb for Bristle. Yeah, that could be good. Reflect Sunder. That's actually a huge tool that they could have used.
Yeah, it seems like they're communicating. They're kind of passing off the duty of these items. AC going to the Alchemist instead of Ice, who had it queued up. We are going to have that Assault Cuirass pretty soon here, but not soon enough for this team fight that OG are looking to force.
Okay, uses an Experience Tome on Alk to try to hit 25 just a little bit faster. This could help a lot. -5 Acid Spray armor. It's a big impact against these really tanky illusions. Not to mention the backline.
You know what the dirty part of this purge is? Look how far back they are.
That's okay.
You know what that is? You know what that is? That's them dodging the extra armor on towers. These illusions are actually hitting a lot more because they're sitting just far enough back that this tower is not getting a whole lot of extra armor.
And towers got reduced if heroes aren't there, which means that illusion split push was actually buffed in the last patch.
It was. I knew you'd like that one, Purge.
I didn't even think about that, man. You got it, though. That's it.
Tier 3 gonna drop. Ana pushes forward with the Metamorphosis. Oh, that is going to be S4 catching the Bristleback. Can they bring him down in time? The Unstable Concoction is going to stop the damage, but they have the Song of Siren. Looking to reset things. They're going to go for the Bristleback. He does have a BKB, though. He's going to pop it instantly, but he's still slowed down. Black, Ana's not sure who to focus. He goes for the supports at the back line. Already taking off the Kunkka. Nuts also falls, while S4 controls of the 2 cores. They're dropping fast. Ice. He managed to take 1 kill. Jab's getting clean up the rest. They're all pretty low, but the damage is too much. He is the only one that has buyback. OG look to just overwhelm Faceless now at the 40-minute mark.
And they're able to pick up the gem as well. Anna on the back line with the song set have gotten the perfect position to clean up the fight. Fly as well, guaranteeing those supports couldn't stop him from doing that bout of damage from the back line. And without the Kunkka to keep those heroes out of position, without the Crystal Maiden to stop the cores from right-clicking, Jabs just couldn't do enough damage on the back line. That's not Alchemist's job. He wants to keep them busy, and he did that kind of, but he needs some backup.
There is no more Metamorphosis, and some of these heroes are about to come up. Maybe Faceless can still hold here. They have one last lane of racks. They're going to use the Sunder for the little bit of extra HP. OG are full committing here to try and get the Mega Creeps. Jabs jumps forward, trying to go for Ana. Song of Siren being used. That is why they did that, because they knew they had this fail-safe plan. They can always pop the Song of Siren as soon as the fight comes to them and they feel uncomfortable.
Not able to gap close. They really wanted to get an X off there. It could have been a big kill, but not going to catch Fly either. Full Ags now for Disruptor.
Oh, no.
Ooh,
those BKBs are no longer useful.
This is like the OPI win the team fight no matter what thing. I mean, OG's been looking at this stuff for weeks and months. The Song into Black Hole. Can't stop that unless you have the BKB break. Song into you can't cast items and your silence no matter what. That's also very abusable. Could be great against Bristleback, potentially good against Alchemist. There's so many good things about what OG's lineup does scaling into the super late game, and they're not even they just got started really on the items that combo well with it.
A monster lead for OG right now, and they're just 1 melee and 1 ranged racks away from Mega Creeps. They've got I don't see any other way. Faceless have to find the initiation. They have to be able to push out, because otherwise they're either going to get ratted or they're going to get a Song of Siren setup that they can't beat. So Faceless has got to make some sneaky moves, but it's OG who are once again going to take the first step. They smoked up.
They do see the Observer Ward. Will they break it? Okay, they put their own ward down. They're going to leave it up there. They don't want to reveal that they're here, so maybe S4 can grab an initiation. Oh, goes on the illusion.
That is not what they were hoping for, but maybe they still have the catch. No tail.
Okay. This is not going to be a full-out spread. He's going to try and get the Static Storm on multiple heroes, but to take down Jabs first. The regen, not going to be enough. He's down for 2 minutes. Now the rest of Faceless, good call onto 2. Again, the 2 cores controlled up by S4. Freezer Field, let it go. Nuts, might as well let it go because there's not much left in the tank for Faceless. They're getting overrun by OG. They storm the base with Ana, taking a melee Rax, finishing up with the range Rax. Black goes in the back line. That's just an illusion, my friend. Black. Ice. He can't deal with these illusions, and neither can Black. The damage is just too much from Ana. Mega Creeps is up. Faceless don't want to go out of this tournament. They knocked TNC out to be here. They don't want to fail Southeast Asia like this, but it seems like OG are just 1 step ahead.
Man, they picked all the heroes that combo well. It's their style. This feels like OG at its base. They made it work with this TB plus Naga. I doubted it a little bit. But man, No Tail's early rotations at 6 were incredible. He's farm? No, I'm here to fight. I got to make up for something because we have this weird draft. And then their late game execution, their mid game execution was just flawless.
I'm sure other teams are going to be learning from Faceless here. First of all, game number 1, how they played that one out was really special way to fight up against OG. But also this game 2 and game 3. OGs are the master of the Naga Siren. I don't think you can give it to them anymore.
And even seeing Ana playing Terrorblade for the first time, 22-7. He farmed faster than a Naga Siren did. He made all the right decisions in the team fight. So much physical damage output. I mean, if I take a look at the scoreboard, he did 34k damage, No Tail getting 30k. He had an amazing performance, but across the board, just cool drafting, picking an Elder Titan back up into the draft. Hero that's kind of forgotten, worked amazing.
The Pudge as well, right?
Pudge,
OG still showing that, you know, hey, everyone's going to give him crap for, hey, picking the Radiance Illusions, yada, yada. But they're still showing a lot of different variants when it comes to, like, their support heroes. Sometimes their offlaners a little bit different. I mean, we also don't see a whole lot of Axe, right? So there may be this base that OG's really good with, but there's enough versatility to kind of work these sort of lineups against almost anything they're facing.
Yeah, and that puts them up to the quarterfinals. It was looking really scary after game 1, but OG moves on.
That's right. OG in the quarterfinals. Faceless done what they can for the Kiev Major, but that is the end of their run. How far can OG go? Questions only the analysts can answer.
Thank you very much. Yes, Capitalists, we are back with our panel once more. OG move on again. They reach yet another semi-final at a major and have another shot here at picking up their 4th major outside of the international. Absolutely incredible form from OG once more. Ben, a lot will be said about the Naga picks, and I guess other teams are now going to learn this.
Well, what's better than 1 Illusion Hero? It's 2 and 3 in 1 game. They played it very, very well. Yeah, Ana hadn't played Terrorblade that much, but No Tail's Naga Siren and the sleep setups and the sleep resets and the sleep escapes are just way too good for this type of game that they played in. I think that Faceless were at a complete loss as to how to take team fights.
Yeah, I think OG also looked at the draft. They recognized like right away. They see, okay, they pick a CM Kunkka Tiny tri-lane, so they just go aggro. And if we looked at, like even at this clip, you look at where Black's net worth is. He's at 9,000 on a safe lane Tiny. He is extremely shut down in this game, and I think that's just big testament to OG. Just at least that for me was a big factor for this one. Just to not let the Tiny be able to snowball out of control, getting pickoffs at all. I think it was really painful for Faceless to try to deal with that, and OG just had very comfort picks. Like you said, their big team fights, their wombo combos were on point. They knew when to take the fights. No Tail was always in the right position at the right time.
Very much an OG performance, this one, Curtis, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and I think they showed us that, you know, Faceless came in with this idea. They would let OG pick an Illusion Hero and they counter it. I thought that was a pretty cool idea, but OG had something better, you know? You counter 1 Illusion Hero, we pick 2 Illusion Heroes. Now you can't counter both of them. And to be honest, Terrorblade and Naga, like, they're Illusion Heroes, but they're also very different types of heroes that do, as we saw in this game, have some synergy with each other. Naga's an Illusion Hero who's better at pushing out waves, doing magical damage, and Terrorblade's really good against those BKBs and doing a lot of physical damage. So they do have some synergy.
Yeah,
and on top of the fact that there's just like an army of...
Oh yeah, Roshan, that was actually hilarious.
The army of illusions running
The army of illusions all over the map, just creating chaos.
Yeah, I just love the way that OG could just like reset fights. It wasn't just with the sleep; it's the Sunder too. Like these two in combination. Even we didn't even get to like let's say super late game when they have like so many like low cooldowns. And yeah, the combos.
I was going to say the Sunder at the bottom lane. Was incredible on Ana as well. Just effectively gave him 3 lives with the Aegis on there as well.
Yeah, if you get to like super late game, let's say, and they have like Octarine and you have the 10-second cooldown on Sunder, you can reset the fight like 3 or 4 times with these 2 heroes and just keep doing that. So I thought it's a really cool approach, and having the Terrorblade to take objectives while your Naga split pushes waves and everything. It's a very OG-esque style.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if you get 25 in Terrorblade, as you said, oh man, that would be so hard to play against. You get Sunder off, you get the sleep off, you get Sunder again on. And Sleep's probably up because that was a 0-second cooldown with Octarine for some reason.
And then you get Elder Titan stomped, and then another Summoner comes out, and then Sleep's back up again.
It really is the stuff of nightmares.
It's just the eternal cycle.
As you can see, the performance on the scoreboard favouring OG in the late game and eventually moving them on to the semi-finals. Unfortunately, Faceless do drop at the round of 8. They have at least passed that first round at a major, so they'll be pleased about that. But I guess they'll be disappointed because every team naturally is disappointed, Ben, when they leave the tournament. But having made the quarterfinals, is that as good as they could have expected?
I think they were pretty close to winning this series. I think they did win game number 1. They had a blueprint to victory, but I think that OG just showed way more flexibility. It seems like it's the same heroes over and over, but they next leveled it with the two Illusion Heroes this game.
I mean, the thing about OG is they might run similar strats, but every time they play them, they evolve them. They're constantly getting better. If you just run the same thing, playing the same way, you will get countered. But OG's came ahead of that. You know, it used to be like these last pick illusion shows. They figured out a way to make it work as first pick in Boston. And that was incredibly scary to see. And now they've evolved even more. And we haven't seen their final form yet.
Yeah, and even though we did see Ana with, what, like 16, 17 or something kills, we just, like, No-Tail as the MVP just because his sleep coordination and the timings when he would do it, like, the way that they would disengage the fights. We saw in the top lane, it seemed like maybe some miscoordination. We see Jarex, like, throw the ulti from the other Titan, and No-Tail just runs in sleep. And he's like, nope, we're getting out. Like, disengaged completely. So it was, like, the calls and just the way that they fought around the Naga. We always say it. The OG with Naga, they're probably one of the best just playing around it.
Okay. We do have the MVP waiting right now to talk to Shiva, so let's cross across to the arena.
Thanks, Paul. Here indeed with No-Tail from OG. First of all, congratulations. A tiring series, but that last game, more Lucian's heroes. Is that better? More is better?
For me, more is better. I thrive in this environment. Alk Manta style everywhere. Terrorblade has his own thing going on, and I'm playing Naga. This is my kind of game, so I was fine, but it was stressful.
Was it always the plan to have a Terrorblade as well as a Naga Siren in that game?
I think we were very good today at adapting in the draft. I think they came very prepared. We were not really ready for what they were going to bring. Like game one, we struggled. But then throughout the day, we just had to adapt, and we picked something that we believed in.
Yeah, because in that first game, I think you gave your fans a little bit of a fright there. What happened?
Like I said, Faceless, they came very ready, and that's how Dota works. It's tough. It's tough. People seem to forget that this has been mentioned many times. Any team can beat any team, especially at a major. They're here for a reason. So us dropping a game shouldn't be surprising. There are good teams here.
And especially in that situation, I feel like a coach comes in and helps you recover from that. Can you talk a little bit about what Sebastian effing Mad did for you in this situation?
Seb is one of the best Dota players I know, and he's also one of the best people I know. What he does for us is invaluable. I don't think I would be here. I don't think any of us would be here if it wasn't for Seb. But yeah, definitely after a loss, he has a lot he can say. He might have not the perfect approach for this one person, but he knows that something has to be done. Like, he's very smart about these things, and I mean, yeah, for me, he does the perfect thing.
Well, it seemed to work out. You made it to the semi-finals. You can relax and have a good night off. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and back to the panel. Of course.
Yeah, some fine words for Mad, the coach of OG, of course. We haven't really spoken about him too much, and his influence on the outcome of OG's quarterfinal. Ben, mark his influence for us.
Seb, he is something special for the team too, and it always seems very relaxing for the team when he's around. And I mean, they're already a pretty calm team in general, but he just helps them with the draft so much, and I think that's one of Fly's biggest strengths, is not only the individual play of his team.
Yeah, we talk about the Fly No-Tail partnership, but it's very much that Seb's in there as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, this guy is probably one of the hardest workers that I've seen as like a coach. I know we've seen like Bulba in the past too, probably be on equal level as him, but when these two teams are playing, like, I've sat next to him and talking, and he's just, we're having like talks about the game probably for like 10 or 15 minutes, but then at one point he's like, all right, one sec, puts his headphones on, and he's just like in the zone, just like looking at the game, analyzing everything. He definitely has such a massive factor for these guys, especially in these type of situations when a team is very prepared for you, how to adapt. I think that's a big influence.
Yeah. What's it like playing with a coach?
I think a coach can relieve a lot of the burden that's on the players. I think the best thing that a coach can do is make sure the players can focus on Dota, and then in addition to that, make sure that they can focus on improving their own Dota. He'll add in ideas from replays that players don't have time to watch. He'll analyze drafts. I think the thing about Mad as a coach is he's a very easy person to bounce ideas off. I've talked to him in the past, and it wouldn't just be you would bounce your ideas off him. He would quickly evolve them. He would make your ideas better almost instantaneously, and he's obviously done that for OG.
Yeah, absolutely. Super smart. Good stuff. Thank you to all three of our panel members. We will, of course, be switching things up a little as we head into our third series of the day. Next up is the only one of two Chinese teams remaining in the competition, as VGJ will go head-to-head with the home